Good morning, AO. Thank you for joining me. And this is a different setting where you're seeing me, and this is my warehouse where we operate from. Maybe later I can do a little walk around. So you will hear some movement, and you'll hear sounds and see movement on here during our discussion. So I am going to jump into the questions, and let's go from here. All right, David Fitzmaurice, you asked a question. This is interesting. It's kind of a deeper dive. A lot of these questions are tough to answer right on the spot like that, but we'll do our best. So David has a cleaning business, and he's got the e-commerce business, and he uses the cleaning business to fund the e-commerce. And David's posts always catch my attention because he owns a swimwear brand, and I own a few swimwear brands too, so I always find that interesting. Okay, so David's basically asking, he's saying he's been using the cleaning business to fund the e-commerce so that it could grow, but because he hasn't focused on the cleaning, it's not doing as well. I think, David, you can correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I'm understanding here. It's a good size paragraph, and then the question is, do you think I should spend more money on my cleaning business so in return I'll make more money from my e-commerce store? Or do you think I should keep doing what I'm doing, as January is a slow month for most businesses? If things were going well, we probably wouldn't have this question. But as you guys all know, there are these ups and downs constantly. So David, this would be kind of an exercise. It helps to have somebody work you through it. You can ask yourself the questions, but it kind of helps. You have to figure out your financial situation. A lot of these are personal questions, and you have to know, do I make enough money to survive on just the cleaning business? Ideally, both of these are independent businesses that both are profitable. So I hate to hear when one's funding the other because the other one's losing a lot. How long can you maintain that loss? Maybe we can talk offline about that. But my goal is to always have every operation functioning profitably so that you're not having to deal with these situations. And I think it may have been Sean who answered on this as well. And one of the things, one second as I look at this. Yeah, these are hard. A lot of these questions, it's so hard to just pop in and answer them because it really requires a little bit more face-to-face. But what's your situation? Do you need money right now? Most people would say yes. Do you need to increase your income? Yes. And how do you get that coming into you faster? Ooh, nice lights. No, that's good. Thanks. That's Justin who brought in some lights. Thank you. Okay. All right. So David, sorry, I couldn't dive into more detail, but check that situation and see where you need money coming from and how you can get it the fastest. If you need money right now, then bring in whatever brings in the fastest. And if you could develop something long-term, do that. If you need help on one of those businesses, don't be afraid to get help. It's hard to wear all hats and do all things. So consider that, whether that's a partner or a key employee who can help you grow that business. It's really hard to go in two directions, completely separate, and they're both asking for your attention, both businesses. Okay, let's see here. The next question is from Robin. Once a product is established, what's the next step in having an e-commerce store? Wow. Yeah, you definitely want to test the market. Get a lot of the people in this group, myself included, we're on Shopify. I love Shopify Plus. We have 11 sites on there, and that process to find the best shopping cart for you or the best platform, there's a lot of them out there, but for me, Shopify is the best one. I think most people in this group will agree as well. You don't have to spend a lot. You don't have to get Shopify Plus in the beginning. You just get Shopify and it works just fine, especially to get started. There's a lot of steps, so your question could go off on a lot of tangents, but here's a key that I see constantly. People spend a lot of money before they're even making money. Just start with spend the least amount of money that you can and make the most amount of money that you can bring in. And then when you see an opportunity to keep growing and then you can spend more money, go ahead and do it. But, I know maybe you're great at not spending money, but I'm just mentioning that because I see it all the time. People get way in over their heads. They make emotional decisions. They think they have to make this business an overnight massive business. You don't, because you may be going down the wrong path. Maybe you think your product's fantastic and you love it, and all your friends and family tell you how much they love it. the people who matter are the people who give you the money for it, not the people who tell you that, yeah, this is a great product. So get to those people in the least expensive way you can, because that's how you test the market. And then if it starts doing really well, you can spend more money. Let's see, next question is from Elise Cotton. What questions should I ask an interviewee during an interview in the construction service industry? Well, I don't know specifically if in the construction service industry there are specific questions. I mean, if you're hiring for a specific trade, then yeah. I mean, if it's just an apprentice or something, somebody carrying stuff, that's probably different. So you're going to want to ask things, I assume, about the actual job. But let me tell you something I've learned. I learned this from a coach that's since retired, but I hired him maybe 10 years ago, and he worked with me for years. His name is John Lazell. He taught me how to hire people in 4 hours, and it's not to hire one person, it's to interview many and get the one person. So that process is very simple. It's you set up a phone number, and maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for us. We've done it for years. We first put a job posting, Indeed, Monster, Craigslist, whatever we may put it on, but it funnels everybody to one phone number. And on the job posting, we put very clear instructions, and those instructions are: call this number, answer this question, answer this question, answer this question. Very simple. So if you do that, what happens is you get to hear, first of all, a lot of people are lazy. They're just going to send a resume. We don't look at those. We only look at the ones who called. So we set up a temporary number like a Magic Jack or whatever, a Google phone, whatever's out there. And as soon as you start hearing the recording and they don't sound like somebody you want to work with, you hit delete. So you would have spent 5 minutes maybe looking at a resume, thinking it's pretty good. Everybody's resume looks good. Everybody looks fantastic on paper. And then their first day is their best day, and their last day is their worst day. So there's some rules out there you can count on. So you get to screen them. Somebody's a very slow talker, and you could just imagine them dragging their knuckles when they work. You don't want that person. You hit delete. So you spent 8 seconds probably on average, and you get to filter through hundreds of people. Maybe you can have somebody pre-filter before you get to it if you want to save your time a little bit. So we did this, we implemented it, and it worked beautifully, and we still do it that way. So, as far as the questions, you can ask them it's really to hear them talk, honestly, this first filter. So this may not be answering your question for a live interview when you actually have them in person, but I'm just sharing from experience that this cuts out so much of the pain and the stress, and, because in one interview in the moment, people look fantastic, and again, their resume looks great, but if you can screen them better. And something I always practice, as I learned from that coach, and I always preach this, is to hire slow and fire quickly. So you hire, or what is it? You fire quickly and hire slowly. I forget how to word it properly. There's a common saying for that, and there's a lot of truth behind it, because you want to make sure that you are making a big decision. This is like, it's not a partnership, so it's not like a marriage, but it's big. You're bringing someone into your family, into your house, and you want to definitely make sure that you trust that person. And that takes a little time to build that relationship through the interview process and check references. It's just like hiring a contractor yourself. Before you go get a pool made, check everything. Look at Yelp, ask them for references, go to the job sites where they've done jobs. By the way, one thing that I've noticed works with contractors is you let them brag about themselves, and you say, oh, so you've done this a million times, and they'll tell you, yeah, I've done this over and over. I've done so many jobs. I've done hundreds of these. Perfect. Can I just have 5 references of people that you've done this job for, so I can go check those out and talk to them? And then the tone changes, and that's a good way to filter a contractor or maybe not an employee, but other people, services. All right, your second question, Elise, was what are the right questions to ask as a sign of their trustworthiness? You could probably do a test. There's honesty tests. If someone's not trustworthy and they're a liar, they're probably going to be a good liar in the interview as well. So I don't know that there's magic questions you can ask. Some of these times you could do tests and see if they're good, and maybe spend a few dollars on the right candidates that you think are great. But another one, I also, this is one time in my life of the few times where I use my gut, and that's how I have been able to move forward. And as far as background services, none recommended specifically. There's a lot out there. And thoughts on investing in the medical marijuana industry. Elise Cotton has a lot of questions, which is fine. I have a lot of friends in it, from farm to stores, and it's a big future. The only problem is I think it's all going to get sorted out now, and there's a lot of players, and so it's a little fragmented. So some of those might get knocked out or acquired. But as far as investing in it, I don't know that you can pick the exact winners and know who's going to do well. But overall, absolutely, the industry will probably do well. It's like Bitcoin. You know, do you invest in Bitcoin or this one years ago? Overall, that whole industry will probably do well, cryptocurrency, but picking the right winner right now is, I think, is a little tough. All right, Stella. Let's see. She's a newbie, concerned about the prices I have set up in my new Shopify store, and would like to get some help on which pricing strategy to use at the beginning to attract customers and avoid losing sales. Most of my products do not include batteries compared to competitors that do. This fact makes me unsure how much below average competitor's price should I go with. Example, competitor one offers a product with battery, good branding, fast shipping with extra cost for 160 euros. And then another competitor. Okay, so what I would do is create an Excel, because I've done this before, kind of looking for like a blue ocean area. So I would list in that Excel who the competitors are. So competitor A, here's his pricing, her pricing. Here's their features. Right, and once you lay it out on an Excel, it just visually, for me, a very visual person, it helps me make better decisions. Always consult with someone else too. I don't know if you have a partner, a key person, a coach, somebody who can help you through that process to make sure that you're thinking clearly. But again, once you lay it out on an Excel, it's a lot better. You're obviously going to have, I would think, you're going to have to go in less expensive. You do not include batteries, and everybody else seems to, or others do. So keep that in mind. You also don't want bad ratings because you don't include batteries. So you probably want to make that pretty clear. I hope that helps. See what else? Yeah, and then here's the other thing. Whatever price you put, it's a price for the day. You can always change it. Our products, we change pricing all the time. There's promotions on this. There's another promotion. You can start high and discount and say it's a short-term, 3-day sale, and play with it and see what works. And pretty soon you're going to find that if you get sales of this high price, you're only going to sell a few, but what was the gross profit on that? Measure that number. And then when you lower the price to down here, you're going to sell more of them, but again, calculate what the gross profit was on that. And then you're going to find a mix, because the worst thing to do is sell really cheap and not make a lot of money and just have to do a lot of volume, but then you don't have the volume. So you got to figure out which is it, and all that comes with practice. And it's like everything. You practice. You're allowed to practice as much as you want. It's your business. Let's see. Next question from Roselli Cloque, I think is the last name. I'm changing my billing structure from hourly to a monthly fee. This will be more time efficient, create steady income, and prevent large invoices to the client. Okay. How can I make this a desirable offer? And should I present it as a company-wide change or as an alternative option for them? I'm thinking of a client that has been with us for 7 years and still paying the same rate. Personally, I'd test this one-on-one. I wouldn't do a company-wide thing just because I'd be a little scared that, what if it disrupts everything all of a sudden? And I'll give you an example. I have a friend who owns a fitness gym with, thousands of members, and he knows he was way underpriced, and he did a blanket price increase. I mean, a really high blanket price increase, and it's not working for him. And it's looking pretty bad. I think he might have to close the gym. It was very aggressive on the pricing, and he forced everybody into it instead of maybe bringing in new customers at a slightly higher rate or at a higher rate and slowly, figuring that out. So that's my fear always, to do this blanket thing. Now, the reason I would do it little by little is because I would talk to those customers one by one and tell them, here's what we're rolling into, here's what we're doing. It's going to benefit you because you're not, I don't know, you didn't really say here how you're doing that. How does, let's see, prevent large invoices just by going from hourly to monthly? I assume because you bill them over a couple of months, so that's a large invoice, and if they just do monthly, it's better. And also, not all clients are equal. Some of them are great to work with and really easy, and those maybe you give a little bit better price. The ones you don't want around, you raise the price on them. So just different options. Again, with all these things that I say that I've been answering here, it's not so much, these aren't cut and dry questions and answers. you have to kind of work through it, talk to other people, get some feedback. I'm providing you as much feedback as I can on a one-way direction. Obviously, with more questions asked, I could get to the bottom of it a little bit better. But this is what we got, and it's good. It's a good way to get introduced to each other. Let's see. And by the way, I'm getting to the last question, so this will be a very quick mentor session, unless anybody has anything else to ask there. All right, Brad, you said, looking for a manufacturer to make my product. Where would I go find them? What do you do in order to make a custom one-of-a-kind product? My CAD drawings are complete. To show what I need, where should I go to find a manufacturer? Well, that's what we do. We manufacture. One of my main business is manufacturing, and it's apparel. We manufacture most of our stuff in South America and Colombia. We just have a great by the way, this is all everything turns into just being about a good relationship or a bad relationship. If you have good relationships, it goes a long way. We've been working with the same factory for 11 years or so in South America. For most of the time, we've been their only customer. We give them enough production. It's a small factory. We keep between 30 and 36 people working over there. And the other thing is we do manufacture a little bit in China here and there, but the way we found the people in China, it came through Alibaba, right? Because you can find every factory in the world there, but you got to kind of screen them. I've heard a lot of stories of people sending money somewhere they don't know and getting burned. So what I prefer to do with everything is getting introductions. I wouldn't go tomorrow and just, especially as a startup, because they're not going to take you serious. If I talk to a factory today, and I've had this work very well, and they see our size, and we share with them the brands that we own and the volume we do, and we wire them $5,000, they're not going to rip us off because they know they want the $1 million a year from us. So that's different. But when you're starting off, and I've seen this happen many times, including to a nephew of mine who I gave him quotes to work with our factory, and he went with a factory in Pakistan, and he got completely ripped off. He wired $4,000 or $5,000, and it disappeared. So, so I would ask around. I can introduce you to the factories that I know, and that's one set of possibilities. And you just talk to more and more people, and that's how you get more and more information. I don't know, and this is why it's important to have a good circle of friends and surround yourself with people who are where you want to be, because they've already avoided all those headaches. When you communicate with that factory and they're telling you something that sounds fishy, it sure is good to have somebody to ask about that, right? Because you don't want to just send money wherever and make some big mistakes like that. So, this is kind of different, but since there are no more questions, unless I missed them, let's see. Give me a second. I guess I'll take advantage and say one thing. Sean pointed out, or AkaShawnThomas is the reason that I'm doing these coaching sessions, because he got me into it. And thanks to him, I've started coaching, just a coaching business. I never had anticipated that. So I'm really grateful to Sean for that. So if you're listening, Sean, thank you. I don't know if I've told you that in person. I will share a success thing that I had, that I shared with a couple of my clients here in the group that I coach. Yes, a couple days ago, I got a client who's a friend of mine, owns a very big, successful service company, and he brought me in. He saw these videos I've been making on YouTube, which, by the way, I hope you'll follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a goal for Valentine's Day, get to 1,000 subscribers. Can't do that by myself, so I'm going to ask everybody I know to help me subscribe to my channel, Joel Gandara. But the friend who owns the service company has been watching a couple videos I made and seen the things I've been putting on Facebook. Again, I only started social media because Sean got me going on this coaching kick, which I'm absolutely enjoying. I love changing people's lives. And because of that, my friend hired me as a consultant. I'm not working. I don't want a job. I don't have a job. I haven't had a job since my 20s. I've owned businesses since then. So, but I will go in a couple times a month, maybe one time a month, but I'll direct on a higher level. And it's $60,000, which per hour, that'll probably be over $1,000 an hour. So not bad. So again, thanks, Sean, and thank you guys, because the second I started getting some clients, it made me really push it. I go all out in whatever I do. So now you'll see me on social media and plugging in things that I can. So I didn't see any more questions. So if possible, I'd like to disconnect my laptop and just show you our warehouse real quick. We'll see how that works. The only person in this group who has seen it is Joanna, who is a very, very successful businesswoman, and I think going to have way more success going forward. And I know others are planning to come and visit me, and I'm looking forward to that. But let me show you around real quick. It doesn't do it justice maybe on a laptop walking around. So that's Francisco over there picking items, and you'll notice he's carrying a cart, or he's pushing a cart around, and that cart has 50 orders inside. So you're picking for 50 orders at the same time. These are racks, right? So A aisle, B aisle. By the way, this started, first of all, in a garage sale. I bought stuff at a garage sale and went to a flea market and started selling the stuff. And then when I started putting it online and doing a little better, I started an eBay store from my spare bedroom. So I did not go and get an expensive warehouse. I didn't go and spend $500,000 on my technology. Yes, I did that after, once I saw the money was there and we were doing well. So all this is just apparel. Some other things we are not. We don't own the products. We are the fulfillment center for other people, other companies. So there are other products that aren't ours, but the 95% in here is ours. So warehouse continues. That's all our stuff. That's Julian. And this is a shipping area where all the packages come out of. Everything we do, as much as possible, is automated. There are no, you notice there are no words on the outside of the boxes. We aren't searching and reading every single thing. The system sends the picker to the location in a chronological order, so that you walk in step. You don't pick here and then go over there and then pick here. You might be able to get away with that when you have 5, 10, 20 orders a day, but when you have 200 to 500 orders a day, you have to be efficient. When we realized our guys were walking a 10-kilometer walk every day, and back then we had 5 pickers, business was smaller, and we had 5 people just picking and packing. We've grown the business quite a bit, and we now have, believe it or not, grown the business. We have 1 full-timer picking, that's it, and a couple of part-timers that come in on heavier days. We schedule them that way, and then a separate guy on Saturdays. So grew the business, probably doubled it, but went from 5 employees down to 1. And the reason we did that is because we want to save money. And with all that saved money, we've been able to acquire competitors. So we've bought 10 of our competitors. These were big competitors that when I showed up to the first trade show, I had the smallest little, most humble booth. And these guys had triple booths and a staff of employees, and they looked like monsters. And I just looked up to them so much. And we've been buying all of them out. So we do that because we are lean. You notice here, there's nothing fancy. Actually, let me show you that. Here's our front room. Oh, the light's off. That's how lean we are. The light's off here in our front room. That's our company, Morrow Capital. That's the capital company I formed to acquire other companies. Front room. And then this has kind of been thrown apart right now. That's Justin. Everybody. And the office is kind of thrown apart because we used it as a studio yesterday, so I can write on the wall and shoot a video that Justin helped me with. He's really good at that. Justin's my VP of operations. He's the one that oversees our 6 to 10 engineers, depending on how many we have at the moment in India, doing all of our software, our websites, all that stuff. And he oversees the factory and everything that goes on there. And he oversees here. But when we streamline it and we have really good processes on how to, by the way, just so you get an idea, we have 20 brands that we own. And every 6 months, each one of them launches a new collection. We have to do photography. We spend almost $100,000 a year in photography. We have to get all those new products uploaded, put them on all the marketplaces, put them on 11 websites. We have to do all these things. But we've streamlined and automated that entire thing, including, by the way, we do not have a buyer. We buy over $1 million a year of products at our cost, and we don't have a buyer. We developed an algorithm that does that. So every time we make these little adjustments, not having a buyer, we're probably saving $75,000 a year. So what do we do with that money? We invest it, it grows, and then we buy our competitors out, or we can compete really hard with our competitors. So I'll mention that. I hope at least you guys are all entrepreneurs. You can appreciate some of these things. When we want to compete with a competitor strongly, because we want to target them, and we do that, we will say, sorry, I was stopping because I'm telling you things, but none of you are my competitors. We will challenge them, piece for piece. We can make a collection that looks similar to theirs because that's legal. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, you buy a polo shirt, there's 1,000 polo shirts, are all identical. But we're all going after this customer base. And if we see they're advertising here and having success here, we can target that. And we can do it with better quality because our factory is a top quality production in place, and better pricing. Because when you don't have all this huge overhead, you can really be competitive. And if you do that enough and you make that customer or that competitor suffer and drop them down a little bit, which by the way, all we're doing is making the marketplace better. We're giving a better product at a better price and weeding out the bad people. So Amazon does this on a massive scale every day. We're doing it on a smaller scale. So if we could lower their sales, that competitor starts hurting. And then they remember that, oh yeah, Joel, every once a year, twice a year, will contact me and say, hey, remember, if you ever want to sell the business, I'm interested in talking to you. And that's how we bought 10 businesses. Then none of them have said, yes, I want to sell the first day. We just sprinkle that thought in their mind. We plant a seed. And the day they walk into their office and stub their toe and they've had enough, they'll give us a call. And that's how we've done it. The beauty of that is if we buy a competing brand and we take this brand, now put it under our roof, so the rent's gone, the managers are gone, everything's gone, it's just under our roof, we can make it work really well. We then take that brand and we don't offer it anymore wholesale to other people. So all the companies that were buying it online and doing well with it lost it. So that makes them more vulnerable to be bought. Again, nothing is being forced. It's just we're competing. This is what makes this country great. And I'll finish on that point. You'll see this flag here. I have that for a reason. I wasn't born in this country, but I'm very blessed to be here and have this opportunity of having a free market. So unlimited potential in this country for everybody. And a lot of you are not in this country, but you know, you're in, as long as you're in the free world, you have really good potential to get ahead. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I hope to hear from you guys. If you want to reach out, feel free to contact me through Facebook or wherever. You know how to get a hold of me. Have a great day.